Do you want to go into debt right now? And what I mean by debt right now, I'm talking about college. Is college really worth it in 2024 and further? Is it really worth it to go into debt by going to college right now? In this video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons and what you guys believe, and I'll tell you what I believe about is college really worth it in this video. I'd love for you guys to comment below and talk about and give your answers of, do you believe college is really worth it right now? So, further ado, hit that like and subscribe button below. And please share this video so more people can listen to this video. You know, I like to be real. That's why this channel is called Transparency with Mr.WrightChoice. So hit that like and subscribe button below and let's get right into it. Now that we're into it, the question is college really worth it right now? So before we even get to the end, I'm going to tell you what I think. And yes, I truly believe that college is definitely really worth it right now. I preach it to all my kids about going to college, but I'm very specific on what I tell them about going to college is actually having or concentrating on something that's actually going to generate you 6 figures in a couple of years and actually concentrating on something that's going to be around for a while. That's very important to tell these kids. I deal with kids all the time, and I'm associated with a high school that I work with a lot of kids too as well. And I see the alarming numbers of kids that really don't know what they really want to go to school for, or really don't know about school, or they haven't prepared themselves prior to their 11th grade or senior year about college, about grants, ACT, SAT scores, this different things that's out there to prepare themselves to move further in education. And that's a huge issue. And it got to the question as in, is college really worth it? Because a lot of kids really don't believe it is, because I think it's a lack in parents and some of the parents' education. This is what my thoughts are, because I don't see a lot of parents probably pushing college to a certain extent that have actually been through it, because it's definitely worth it, especially nowadays when I look at the job market and a lot of the jobs say that they're looking for a certain type of degree or a certain kind of accolades or certification that's needed for that particular job. So like I said, I do believe that college is worth it. I want you guys to, comment below. Give me your thoughts of, do you believe college is worth it right now? Because we're on the topic of college right now, not trades or anything like that, which I think that is big too as well. And also, I know you see that I have on my thumbnail $150,000 in college debt, which is, I'm just to be honest with you guys, my being a licensed realtor here in Florida, I know for a fact a lot of people are in debt and have college debt. And I know for a fact that a lot of people that I have worked with, their incomes don't even match what their debt is, or whatever the debt is they went to school for, they're not even in the job they're doing with the debt they accumulated while they was in college. I seen that firsthand, and I also seen that people got affected with college debt by taking out the wrong kind of loans too as well, because some loans are deferred 6 months out or after you graduate. Some starts automatically as soon as you graduate. Just learn the different type of loans you can get, because what happens is that what happened to me, one of my loans that I took out, as soon as I graduated, I had to start paying that back. And guess what? I couldn't afford it when I graduated. So you know what that did? It hurt my credit score. So my credit tanked after I graduated. My credit tanked. My credit tanked because of the lack of knowledge that I really had about student loans, racking up student loans that I didn't even need to get. So I believe really right now, guidance counselors need to do a better job. I would just say all of us probably need to do a better job of educating the young ones about moving forward and taking the right steps to move forward. And also preaching that there's nothing wrong with going to a junior college that's in your state, because that saves you a lot of money and also allows you to kind of figure out what you want to go to school for and do some research or ask some questions. So is college really worth it, you guys? What's your thoughts? And, if you've been watching my videos, I like to bring up a lot of news conversations so you know what's going on. So right here, I'm going to pull up this guy real quick. Hold on one second. I'm going to pull up this guy real quick. His name is Mr. Micro. And I always got ads going on for some odd reason. You know how I roll. So I'm gonna pull up Mr. Rowe right here. Let me skip this real quick. Pause this. So, Mr. Mike Rowe, he's a major advocate for trade schools, explaining why the younger generation is foregoing college for other opportunities. So, I'm about to pull him up right now, and we're going to listen to him
with
real
what
quick.
we're here for. You said something interesting about 4-year college degrees. You say they are shameful, or they are seen as shameful. Strong stuff.
Well, I just mentioned PR with regard to utilities. That's what I was talking about with degrees. I'm not saying that there's anything inherently shameful about getting one, but I do think from a PR standpoint, something.
So I'm going to pause this real quick. So before he gets all the way into it, because I wanted to use this. So the average cost of a college attendance, a college degree for 4 years, you guys, in state, you're looking at $104,000 for 4 years. Out of state or a private school, majority a nonprofit school, you're looking at basically $100,000 more, $223,000. That's why, to me, that's why it's very important. If you're going to go to school and try to accrue this debt, if you don't get no scholarships, no grants, if you're not able to get financial aid, the financial aid that you don't have to pay back, this is something to look at, and also being strategic of what schools you want to go to, and also seeing what schools offer the program you're looking for compared to going to a name. Just going to a name like, I don't want to name names, I'm in Florida, but going to one of the prestige names or wherever you're from. So I just wanted to stop here and show this real quick.
Really interesting has happened. I've been talking about it for a long time, but in higher ed, everything is based on the perception of value around the credential. And that perception is tied very specifically to the belief that it makes you knowledgeable. You get the degree, it's a reflection of your intellect, your wisdom, your knowledge. I think that's over. I think that connect.
Do you guys believe that, what he just said? Do you believe that you getting degrees should determine you're knowledgeable of whatever you went to school for? So also determines that you should get that job because you got that degree. Do you believe in what he just said?
No longer exists in the minds of many millions of parents. I think they're starting to see the degree as a thing you purchase in a very transactional way, in the same way that I believe a lot of universities have come to see their students as consumers. And so what's gotten arbitraged, if you will, out of the whole conversation is the actual knowledge that you would assume comes with a degree. We were mentioning earlier, right, not to pick.
Like I said, like he just mentioned it, does the knowledge actually come with the degree? I'm just gonna be honest. To me, I think it really depends on the school you go to, on how much work you put into it. So, for instance, I know people that went to school for, as you can see, I do a lot of production work. I know people that went to school for film school, and I didn't go to school for film. I didn't go to school for film or production, and I know way more than them, and they have a degree. And I think a lot of time the difference is some people that was not able to get internships, or especially for film too as well, they didn't put the work in. They just went to school to get a degree and leave, and really didn't learn real life principles of their degree. And I think that happens a lot with people just getting regular degrees and they try to go in the job force and they're not knowledgeable or nothing, because I believe they didn't do internships. And that's why I think internships is much needed depending on what you're going to school for.
On Harvard, but in 1955, the average GPA among the graduates was 2.5.
Harvard, you said.
Today, it's 3.8%.
What?
Look,
I didn't get an A.
A lot of people are getting A's. A lot of legacies are going through. We just saw the president being defended by the Harvard Corporation over 50 counts of plagiarism. We saw the anti-Semitic thing. Put it all together, and you find a lot of alumni not only holding back on donations, but they're taking their degree off of the wall, frankly, because they're tired of talking about this. That's a PR problem, and if higher ed doesn't take it seriously, the chickens will come home to roost.
To me, the big breakdown in higher education came during the pandemic.
Yeah,
when the schools were
pandemic
closed,
was major.
the kids had to mask up. They didn't go. They lost the university experience. I think the breakdown in higher education started then. You with me?
New York University
Listen to this right here.
raised its tuition during Zoom classes.
How do you do that during COVID, during
At some
pandemic?
point,
How do you
you've
raise
got
the tuition
to
during
get the
pandemic?
people who are paying the bills, it's almost like they're being dared, right? It's like, how much further will it go? Meanwhile, in my little tiny world, We offer work ethic scholarships for kids who want to learn a skill that's in demand.
I like that.
The foundation's never
The demand.
giving away another $1 million at the end of the month for these kinds of scholarships. They're not sexy. They're like utilities, Mark, right? They're there. But welders, steam fitters, pipe fitters, heating, air conditioning.
Stuff that's needed every single day.
The country is built on those things. Whether they're sexy or not, the opportunities exist. There's a path to 6 figures, and it's shorter than you think.
Sure.
So I like what he said. I like the skills that he mentioned that's forgotten about. I talked in my last video about HVAC workers, pipers, welders, electricians, and so forth. That them jobs allow you to make 6 figures compared to getting that college degree and going to debt. But you still have to go to school for all of them that he just mentioned to as well. But he said he's got some opportunity to pay for kids that would like to go do them things. I do like that. He just mentioned something earlier. I don't know why I went mind blank. But I'm gonna go to about 340 because they say something else again. I want to skip to. Hold on here. Let me go to 340.
Actual academic education.
Look, this is
meant to the universities.
Higher ed needed better PR in the 70s because we needed more engineers and we needed more doctors and we needed a lot of that. Unfortunately, the PR that came with the push for that came at the expense of the careers we're talking about. In other words, they weren't content to simply make a case for higher ed. They made it by saying, if you don't go in this direction, you're screwed. If you don't go in this direction, you're going to wind up under a house welding or some crazy thing. That was dumb, and the unintended consequences of that.
Yeah, I'm a
skills gap.
I'll elaborate on that.
Giant skills gap. 11 million open jobs.
But I get the impression that things are changing. Not many corporations, well, some corporations no longer require a university degree, and more people are realizing you can make $100,000 a year as a plumber or electrician once you've got a couple of years of experience under your belt. Right?
Final thought on PR.
So he just mentioned that again, them skill trades that I had mentioned before, you can make 6 figures in them trades, and there is a skill gap. And like that, he said PR. He's 100% correct about PR. I'm not too sure about when he said the 80s, but I can go about right now. Because right now we're preaching so much about college. I do it to my kids. And we don't preach so much about trades, the skill gap that he's talking about. Being in real estate, I can see the gap in that just from everybody that it takes to build a home. The people that you need and the skill set you need to just to build a home. And there's not so many of Americans that's out there doing that job, if you get what I'm saying, without me get what I'm saying. So another thing that I mentioned earlier came to me now. He said during COVID, I think the world noticed during COVID when we went from face-to-face teaching to have to go to and figure out how to do Zoom, everything was dummied down. A lot of people, even teachers and whatnot, had to figure out how do we engage to our kids? How do we teach our kids? And what we call them when I'm in the school system, they call them COVID babies. I think they're graduating right now. A lot of them they just got passing grades. They really didn't learn nothing in them 1 or 2 years. And he mentioned that New York went up on their tuition when they're doing Zoom. To me, that don't even make sense. I'm pretty sure that year on Zoom, them kids really didn't learn really nothing because everything went away from in person to Zoom, and it just came out of nowhere because people already paid. They're not gonna give you money back in college. You already know that. They're not gonna give you no credit, so they're gonna figure out something, but they're gonna raise the price. And New York probably wasn't the only school that raised the price too as well. So I want to go to my next video here and talk about the growing numbers of Americans questioning the value of college degrees, because since we're on this topic. So let's go to this next video here.
Hey guys, so there has never been a more
I
important
always
moment to
have
make a
these
donation.
crazy
Here's the deal.
ads. So
Now we want to bring you today's original with in-depth reporting on a topic we've been keeping an eye on. Today, we're talking college. More and more Americans are asking themselves, is a college degree still worth it? With inflation hitting American pockets harder and tuition costs rising, folks are rethinking higher education. In fact, some 2/3 of Americans, according to a new survey, believe that well-paying, stable jobs can be obtained with only a high school diploma or GED.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Isn't just hype or big talk. Many are actually putting college off, dropping out, or not going at all. Stephen Romo has more.
Getting a college education can be one of the most important financial decisions you'll make in your lifetime.
The cost of students
6 figures.
is absolutely insane. He'll be a senior next year, and then we'll have to be dealing with that. And we've been looking at colleges.
Really know the struggle and feel that, but she's the one that pays for it.
But now, in the middle of an ongoing pandemic and an economic downturn, more Americans are rethinking higher education's value.
Bill is high, especially got multiple kids.
You can find a well-paying job, a stable job with only a high school degree or equivalent and no college education.
That study by think tank New America adds to the growing trend of research showing that some Americans are either not going or not finishing college, in large part due to the increasing cost of getting a diploma.
People are really trying to figure out what makes the most sense. Do I take time out of the workforce, or can I work immediately with a good wage?
Some colleges now raising tuition as much as 5%, citing inflation after tuition costs remain stable for a majority of the pandemic.
Now, that video kind of crazy because the part that don't make sense to me, they're trying to state that you can get a good paying job with a high school diploma. I'm like, where at? I just on my last video, I talked about Indeed. And if you look at most of the jobs that pay really good, and let me rewind that. The problem I have with that, the high school is because a lot of them jobs ask you for a previous experience. If you have never got any experience, how are you going to get them high paying jobs if you've never been in them roles? So that's the one thing that makes sense. I haven't seen that. And she just talking about getting a job. She didn't say a trade job that I just discussed earlier that you still got to go to school for that. You got to get a 4-year degree. But they state two that the lady at the beginning and the lady at the end both said something about high school. It didn't make sense. But a lot of people are thinking a growing number of people questioning the value of school. And I have kids, like I said, I work with that say the same thing too as well. Why go to college? Or a lot of people can't afford it because, as you said, inflation, most of these schools prices have dramatically went up. Dramatically. That's why you got to be strategic and figure out exactly what you really want to go to school for and what actually can, compensate or be the same as whatever you go into debt for. You don't technically got to go into debt. There's a lot of different programs out there if you start early. The issue that I'm seeing is a lot of kids just don't know, or their guidance counselor's not really guiding them the proper way. Like, why are you taking your ACT, SAT your junior year and your senior year? Why you haven't been doing that your freshman year and then and keep on working on it year by year so you can get your best score? Why are you worrying about at the end of your high school career? Now you're stressed and now you got this deadline to apply for schools, but you don't got your scores right. So now you're stressed about that and also stressed about trying to finish in all your courses while you're in school. So the problem starts at home with your parents, your guidance counselor, or your mentor of helping out the kid, or even parents that need to be educated too as well to educate their kids, to put them in a position to win at the end of the day. So this next video I'm going to pull up, we're still on the same topic about school. And this one is interesting, talking about there's fewer men going to college nowadays and more women are excelling in college.
Now to our second story about who is going to college. Enrollment among young Americans has been declining over the past decade. That decrease mostly driven by fewer young men pursuing degrees. A Pew Research study finds the's about 1 million fewer young men now enrolled in college as compared to 2011. We took a closer look at why. That's the second part of our focus tonight on rethinking college.
Tomorrow morning in Brentwood, New York, Yordi Velasquez will graduate high school. But like a growing number of young men, college isn't in his immediate plan.
I started looking into college a little too late, and I couldn't decide
See what I
to
said?
do. I didn't know where I would get the money from.
A little bit too.
And I just think it'd be
That's
better
early
if I started
years.
working immediately.
Raised by a single mother who also cares for his disabled brother, Velasquez says he plans to become a certified HVAC technician.
Nothing wrong with that, a trade.
Ruled out going to college one day, but says it simply doesn't make sense right now.
The fact that I'd have to pay even though I don't know what I want to do, and that I might not even get a job in the field that I want.
He's not alone. Last year, among high school graduates in the U.S., only 57% of men have enrolled in college. That's compared to 65% of women. It's a trend that dates back nearly.
What do you guys think on that? Comment below.
Every year since 1996.
Is your daughter
women
or
have entered
son going
college
to college?
at higher
Or
rates
both
than
going, or
men.
which one's not going?
Education system
Or
as
which one is
a
going?
whole doesn't seem to be working quite as well for boys as it is for girls.
Richard Reeves is the author of Boys and Men, Why the Modern Male is Struggling, Why It Matters, and What to Do About It. Men are falling behind in education. The education gap is bigger now than it was back in 1972 when Title IX passed. What accounts for that?
The main reason for that is that it's through the education system, girls are outperforming boys. So
Yeah, that is true.
Beginning
I've seen it firsthand at school all the time.
So if you look at, for example, high school GPA, which is a very good measure of success, take the top 10% of high school students, 2/3 of them are girls. That obviously affects what's going to happen in the college system too.
Today, men make up only 42% of undergraduate students, and for young men of color, the gap is especially alarming. There are now 50,000 fewer black men enrolled in college compared to pre-pandemic levels.
I think that college is becoming a tough sell for a lot of men, not necessarily because college isn't a compelling idea, but rather because there are so many other competing factors that might be equally, if not more so, desired.
Roderick.
Now, what he just said at the end, as in men, I guess what he said is compelling, and I'm gonna say social media. A lot of kids see stuff on social media that's fake. You see all these people stunting, flexing, as they call it, these kids call it, of what they got or what they're doing, and none of it is real. So my belief is, a lot of kids are confused of what is real and what's reality when you're looking at social media. You're seeing that these people, as they say, get in the bag, but they really not getting the bag. Not consistently. They take care of a whole family or themselves or whatnot. And I think a lot of kids are just confused just because of social media, the social media world. You got so many people that's fake, so many people that's scamming. And I think that's really the real big issue right there, that in my belief, is that just going off, what I listen to with kids just be talking about, or I ask them certain questions, or they listen to music and they listen to what they're saying and they want to act on what they're saying and they thinking that's real. And I think that's the issue. So, comment, like and subscribe to it below if you like everything so far, and share it to your friends, and comment below on your thoughts on that too. So moving on to the next thing real quick, let's talk about another issue that's going on for college and making it really worth it, and making kids think, should they really go? Because it's hard. So I just asked the kid, my homeboy's kid the other day, about him going to school. And he said that a lot of schools' acceptance rates has decreased a lot. So why are college acceptance rates decreasing? What do you need to know? So reported that acceptance rates at the top 50 schools fell from 35% to 22% in 2018. As you see that big decrease right there, and it's more than that. Because we've been preaching, we've been preaching so much to our kids now that go to school. So a lot of the top schools are getting a lot of kids that are applying. And also what makes it even harder, and why it starts when they're in middle school and freshmen or whatnot, is grades. You got to be on top of your game now on your GPA, your ACT, SAT, them scores, doing essays, to get accepted to these schools now. It's making it very hard for kids to go to school and getting rejected. So applying for like 3 schools or 2 schools, the schools that you really, really want to go to, that name, essay, you need to be applying between 5 to 10 schools. Yeah, it is expensive. You do got to pay money to apply for school and do all the stuff, all the applications in. But it's better to look where you at, look where you want to go, and apply for them schools and see which one works out best and which one is better for your pockets and your family pockets. And also makes you think about junior college. Junior college. Which one is local to you that's easy access so you can figure out them 2 years. So I just pulled up here. Studies are applying, more people applying for school. In 2013, the students submitted 4.6 college applications on average. In 2021, 2020, that number grew to 6.22 or whatever that 6.2 is, but from 4 to 6, whatever they're saying. You can see the difference of more people submitting, which is a good thing now. It seems like more kids are thinking about going to college now, but on the flip side of that is it's harder for kids to get accepted to go to school now. So this young man, he wanted to go to Florida Gators because his girlfriend goes there, and the acceptance rate has dropped a lot. It's like, I don't know, something like 30% or something like that. Something very low. Even down here, I'm in Florida, you guys, as you know. FAMU acceptance rate is very low. It's hard to even get in that school. Hard to get at FSU. Even UCF over here. It makes it hard for kids. So it starts early. And it makes you, and then by that being harder for kids, it makes them be like, well, dang, it's hard for me to go to these schools I really want to go to, because I really truly believe that if you're able to and can afford it, going to university, being on campus and getting that environment, being around different cultures helps you out a lot. I think you learn faster and you can be able to adapt from like I did. My first school I went to was okay, but my second school I ended up going to, I loved it. I loved the culture. I loved the diversity. I loved everything about the school. And I had a great time. I met a lot of people, built a lot of relationships. And I think all kids should be able to experience that if they can. If not, go to junior college and then go to a university. There's nothing wrong with that, you guys. And don't let nobody fool you and tell you that either. So the next one is, I got 2 more to go over real quick. Just go over there. What is the actual percentage of college students getting a job after they graduate? These are things that we have to show these kids or even educate ourselves to know these numbers. So let me scroll down. So it's saying that there's a 72% of college graduates getting employed in the U.S. after graduation. 72%. This was updated on June 19, 2024. 72% saying that if you graduate college and get a degree, you should be able to get a job. Now, we're not going into detail saying how much money you're going to make. We're not saying that. It's just saying that you'll be able to get a job, which is a good thing. Now, the pay, it all depends on what you went to school for. All that matters. All that matters. So the next one I have right here, let's talk about the average college graduation. What's the projection of kids making money after they graduate? Because that's important too as well. Let's scroll down. So I have it right here. The average projected salary, let me highlight this so you can see. The average projected salary in the U.S. for the class of 2024 with a bachelor's degree is around $68,000. $68,000. Not bad to start out. Not bad to start out, depending on where you live in the U.S. Overall hiring projections for the class of 2024 are down basically 6% from last year. And it looks like if you went to school for engineering majors have the highest projected salary for a class in 2024, around $76,000. And followed by computer science majors, which projected salary around $74,000. Humanity majors have the highest projected salary jump, 28%, going from $52,000 to $68,000 in 2024. So degrees actually matter, you guys. As you can see right there, these numbers, me just going over all this, them degrees matter. So, I went to the University of Alabama. That's a big engineering school and business school. And around 20, and this, I'm gonna tell you how big the difference was. So prior to 2008, everybody that I knew that graduated in business or in engineering, when they graduated, all my friends and whatnot, they made 6 figures. They was making 6 figures after they graduate with them getting a degree, a concentration or whatever it was in engineering or business. After 2008, when the crash, everything went crazy, a lot of them that graduated after that couldn't even find a job, or the engineers started getting jobs only making $50,000 or $60,000. And I know people personally that was going through that struggle. then. So I say that because of the world, what we got going on right now. And, you know, if you've been paying attention to everything that's going on, going to school matters on, and let me rewind that. Going to school and finding exactly what you really want to go to school for. And some of them degrees makes you have to go to school and get a master's degree to actually make the money you really want to make. So engineering, even though at that time I mentioned earlier that their pay went down, it ended up going back up more. It's just when that time hit. But I still say that when people still was able to get a job back in 2008. But engineering, computer science are the leading ones that they said right there that gives you the most pay without getting a master's degree or whatnot. So in this video, you guys, just a quick recap, we talked about, you know, 4-year degrees, is it worth it? We talked about that. Question the value, does it matter to even go to college? And then we talked about fewer men nowadays going to college. And just to elaborate more on that, fewer men, is because a lot of men can do maybe want to be mechanics, maybe want to be plumbers, want to be electricians, inspector, or and do HVAC. A lot of them jobs that can make 6 figures compared to getting a 4-year degree, or being a fireman or a police officer or something in that nature that makes really good money, especially with them degrees. I just said like firefighter, and so you still got to go to school to be a firefighter too as well. I forgot how long it is because I know my son wanted to do that, and also being a police officer. But you can make the money by going up in a ranking, just like if you go to the military. So is college really worth it, you guys? Like I told you earlier, I do believe in it, but a lot of people don't believe in it. And there's nothing wrong if you don't believe, you don't think it's worth it, but we need to position our kids, if they don't want to go to college, what's a different route? They don't have to go in debt, $150,000 like most people are in debt. They can go to trade school and make really, really good money. So is college really worth it? Do we have different options for our kids? That's important. Lay it down and let them see what other avenues it is besides just college. Is it military, or is it trade, or take over a parent's business or something like that? You know, everybody want to preach being about entrepreneur, but it's no better way being an entrepreneur till you actually really work in the field and learn business practices, learn how to conduct yourself with other people, depending on what job you go into, and then you start doing your own business, compared to just come out the gate talking about you want to be an entrepreneur, do your own business, but you haven't learned anything on a real job. You know, stop preaching that so much to these kids, and kids seeing everything on social media. You got grown-up people that have their own business, don't know how to conduct themselves with their own business, or know how to conduct themselves when issues come up with a customer or whatever. So stop preaching that so much to our kids, man, because some of our kids need to go into work first and learn and gather the information so they can be great and they can be successful and come out winning at the end of the day. But you know, that's enough of me talking and rambling this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want you guys to hit that like and subscribe button below and share. Like I always say, it's your boy, Mr.WrightChoice, on the Transparency channel on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I got more coming. And thank you all guys for all the love that I've been getting on my videos that I've been posting. Peace out. I'm out.